Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. Today on the table we have another fantastic bird and trout knife made by Ontario Knife Company, aka Old Hickory. And if you're a follower of this channel, you know I love my bird and trout knives. I just love that pattern. So this is the model 7027 Old Hickory Bird and Trout. Made in the USA, June of 23. And this is what an Ontario Knife Company box looks like. And on the inside, you get a little bit of paperwork here. I'll hold this here. You can pause it and read it if you would like. They do have a 1-year limited warranty. It does say it says it's been in business for 130 years. Made in the USA products. Here's some warning and disclaimers. Now, the status of Ontario Knife Company is still in question. They pretty much, I think they filed for bankruptcy or went out of business, however you want to describe it. I believe a company has bought it, a U.S. company has bought it, but I don't know currently if they're still manufacturing these knives or not. Tobias Gibson recently did an update on Ontario Knife Company. I'll link a copy of his video in here. So if you have questions, are they still being made here, or what's the status of the company? I think Tobias does a pretty good job of explaining it. However, the status is still kind of up in the air. Now, I was very fortunate to get this. I got this about, 5 or 6 weeks ago, maybe. Yeah, I've been holding out on you. And because when you go to the Ontario Knife website, it shows that they're not available, and you go to a lot of your different discount knife stores online, they all show, unavailable or discontinued. And I don't remember what company I bought this from, but I found one still in stock. You can still see, I see them advertised on Amazon. You can still get them on Amazon and, of course, on eBay. So if you're really interested in this knife, do a little bit of searching. You'll probably be able to find one. So this is what their version of the bird and trout knife looks like. And we'll run through the specs here just real quick. The weight is 0.28 pounds, and the dimensions are 9.25 inches with a 3.25 inch blade. The manufacturer brand is Old Hickory, and its product number OH7027. The name of the knife is a bird and trout knife. It's 6.7 inches overall. And I'm sorry, the blade length is 3.38 inches with a satin finish, 1075 steel blade, brown wood handle, brown leather belt sheath. So, and made in the USA. So this is your typical Old Hickory. This almost looks like a paring knife, doesn't it? So since we got some of the specs out of the way here, let's take a closer look. You can see the grind lines in the blade there, and I like that on a blade. I don't know, just gives it a classy look. We can see here it is not full tang, but it has your Old Hickory stamped in here. A couple bird's eye rivets there. It is a registered trademark. Now I wear, large to extra large gloves. So as you can see, you can barely get 4 fingers on it. But a little knife like this, you're not really looking for, a big full grip on it typically anyway, because you're probably going to be choking up on it. I feel just a little bit of blade wobble here, just a little bit. You see it there? Now this knife, I don't remember what I paid for it. It's somewhere in the area of $20. It could be a little more, could be a little less, depending on where you buy it. But they've always been a budget line and a fantastic USA made budget line. And I'm kind of surprised to see the blade wobble in there, because I've not found that on my other Old Hickory knives. But it's a great budget option. The 1075 steel, it's carbon, it will rust. You do have to take care of it. But if nothing else, it is a great beginner's knife. you know, for a child, it's that 1075 is going to be very easy to sharpen, and typically you can get a pretty screaming sharp blade. So it's a good blade for, again, for a youngster to practice sharpening on. Other uses, I have some of the other old hickory knives. They're great in a campsite. They're great for food prep and things like that. Unlike a paring knife, paring knives don't come with sheaths, so if you're out camping or hiking or something, you do have a sheath to put it in. They are extremely lightweight. You know, the sheaths, the leather does always seem to be a little stiff. You know, you're not getting a top-notch sheath here, but you're getting a functional sheath. And of course, here's your belt through here. So those are some of the advantages of the old hickory line of knives, and this bird and trout knife in particular. Now, this is not what I consider to be a traditional bird and trout knife, even though that's what Old Hickory named it. So I want to show you what I define as a traditional bird and trout knife. And here's an old case, and you have the small clip point blade there, you know, less than a 4-inch blade, or 4 inches and less. To be really traditional, you know, the stacked leather. So, you know, here's an old case bird and trout knife, and you can see the old hickory does not fall under my definition of a traditional bird and trout knife. Just another little example here is a Western out of the Black Beauty series. And again, just a small little knife like that. So these are more in the style of what I consider to be a traditional bird and trout knife. Now, it is interesting. I ran across an article from I think it's 2022, and it was on knifeaesthetic.com, and they rated the 10 best bird and trout knives. Not saying I agree with this list, but it was kind of fun to find this list. And you can see that this old hickory bird and trout was the number 3 pick. So amazingly enough, their number 1 pick was the CRKT Mossback, which I happen to have right here. And this is the CRKT Mossback. Again, does not fit under my definition of a traditional B&T, but you can see it's a nice full tang knife. Yeah, this is a very nice knife. Just doesn't quite fit into my traditional definition. And the one downside, I guess, of this Mossback is I don't like this sheath. I don't like that big billboarding there, and it's nylon, and they could have done a little better with the sheath, but that's neither here nor there. It is a nice knife. So after the Mossback, then they list the Grauman H2C, which is a Grauman bird and trout knife. I do not have that one, although I've been looking to purchase it. The only thing that stopped me from getting it is the cost, because they're, I think, around $100 or so. Next on the list is the Cold Steel. I do not have one of the little Cold Steel ones. Number 5 is the Bear & Son 751. I do happen to have that one. And this is what the Bear & Son 751 looks like. Again, under my definition, not a traditional bird and trout knife. The traditional look of one, but it is a nice knife. We got full tang. You got the Foss stag here. Nice choil here. So, yeah. This is what they consider to be the number 5. Again, this is in 2022. So, number 6 is the Camillus model, which I do not have. Number 7, a Puma, which I do not have. The number 8 is a Rapala Hunting Classic, and I believe I do have that one. I believe this is the knife that they are describing. And the reason it's classic is because this is out of the classic series with the Birch. And I've done videos on all of these knives. I really do like this one. I mean, this one here, this is a slicer. I mean, this would be a very good camp knife too. One advantage I like about these is this nice big round handle there. There is a lot to grab a hold of. And I've often said those that have like arthritis in their hands, or have difficulty holding on to a knife, this just gives you a lot to hang on to. It is so comfortable, and it is so lightweight. It's not for heavy duty work. It's a very thin blade, so it's not here for carving wood or anything like that. But again, for bird and trout, and or just in the campsite, this is an excellent option. And then we have number 9, the U.S.A. Tech. I'm not even familiar with that company. And number 10, the ESEE CR2.5, which I do not have. So it's nice to know that I've got some of them that they list on their top 10 list. Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed this review of the old Hickory bird and trout knife. It's a lot of fun to break these knives out and show them and share them with you. Until next time, go out and have a very delightful day.